Let's start with the deaths where your body shuts down quickly and work our way toward the ones where it keeps fighting long after you wish it wouldn't. Because dying isn't a single process. Fall into freezing water, and your own muscles can turn against you. Get trapped without oxygen, and your brain may not even realize you're dying. In other situations, your body can keep you conscious while it slowly sacrifices everything that isn't necessary to survive. And the worst part is that some of the things people believe about dying are completely wrong. Number 8, dehydration. Getting stranded without water sounds simple. You get thirsty. You get weaker. Eventually, you die. Unfortunately, your body makes the journey significantly more miserable than that. Within hours, your mouth becomes dry and your urine gets darker as your kidneys desperately try to conserve water. Then your blood volume begins to fall. Your heart has less fluid to pump, so it beats faster to keep oxygen moving around your body. You become tired, irritable, confused, and that's when your body begins making budget cuts. Sweating decreases. Your kidneys produce almost no urine. Blood flow is redirected away from less important areas. Your body is basically firing employees to keep the company open. But eventually, even that isn't enough. Your blood pressure falls. Your organs begin receiving less oxygen. Your kidneys can fail. Then your brain begins malfunctioning. Confusion can turn into delirium. Then unconsciousness. And finally, multiple organs begin shutting down. Which brings us to a death where water is everywhere. Number 7, drowning. Most people imagine drowning as violent screaming and splashing. But real drowning can be frighteningly quiet. Once you can no longer keep your mouth above water, panic takes over. You try to hold your breath. Carbon dioxide begins building in your blood. And eventually, the urge to breathe becomes almost impossible to resist. You gasp. Water can enter your airway. You cough. Your throat may briefly close in an attempt to protect your lungs. But without oxygen, your brain begins running out of time. You become confused. Your movements lose coordination. And eventually, you lose consciousness. Your heart may continue beating for a short time. But without oxygen, brain injury begins within minutes. The disturbing part is that the body doesn't understand that breathing is now the problem. It only knows one thing. You need air, so it keeps forcing you to try. Number 6, freezing to death. At first, cold doesn't feel deadly. It feels uncomfortable, then painful. Your blood vessels tighten to keep warm blood near your heart, lungs, and brain. Your fingers become numb. Your hands stop working properly. Then you begin shivering. This is your muscles rapidly contracting to produce heat. But shivering burns energy. And eventually, your body starts running out. Your movements become slower. Your speech becomes confused. Simple decisions become incredibly difficult. And then something strange happens. You may stop feeling cold. Some severely hypothermic people become confused and remove their clothing, a phenomenon often called paradoxical undressing. Your body temperature continues falling. Your heart becomes increasingly vulnerable to dangerous rhythms. Your breathing slows. You lose consciousness. And eventually, your heart stops. The strange thing about severe hypothermia is that cold also slows the body's chemical processes, which means, in rare cases, people have survived after appearing dead for surprisingly long periods. So congratulations. You might get a second chance. You just probably won't be awake to appreciate the first one. Number 5, extreme heat. Freezing makes your body slow down. Extreme heat does the opposite. Your body begins working desperately to cool itself. Blood vessels near your skin expand. Your heart beats faster. You sweat heavily. But if the environment is too hot or humid, sweating becomes less effective. Your temperature rises. Your brain begins malfunctioning. You become confused. You may experience seizures. Your muscles can begin breaking down. Your kidneys become overwhelmed. The lining of your intestines can become damaged, allowing bacteria and toxins to enter your bloodstream. Then your blood clotting system can malfunction. Tiny clots form throughout the body while other areas begin bleeding. At this point, you're no longer just overheating. Multiple systems are collapsing simultaneously. Your heart, kidneys, liver, and brain begin failing. Apparently, the human body is very good at maintaining the correct temperature, right up until it isn't. Number 4, falling from extreme height. This one happens quickly, but not always instantly. As you fall, gravity accelerates your body toward the ground. The dangerous part isn't the speed itself. It's stopping. When your body hits a solid surface, the outside stops almost immediately. Your organs don't. They continue moving inside you. The brain can strike the inside of the skull. The heart and major blood vessels can tear. Bones can break and damage nearby organs. If the injuries are severe enough, blood pressure collapses and the brain loses oxygen. But survival depends heavily on how you land and what you hit. People have survived falls from extraordinary heights. Snow, trees, sloped surfaces, and structures that collapse under impact can increase the stopping distance and reduce the forces on the body. So if you ever fall thousands of feet, remember, aim for the giant pile of snow. Very useful information. Number 3, being buried alive. You wake up. It's completely dark. You try to move. You can't. And then you realize there isn't much air. At first, your breathing becomes faster. You panic, which is unfortunate because panic makes you consume oxygen more quickly. As oxygen decreases, carbon dioxide accumulates. Your heart beats faster. You develop a headache. Your thinking becomes confused. You may become strangely sleepy. Eventually, you lose consciousness. But here's the problem. Depending on the space around you, suffocation may not be the first thing that kills you. If you're buried beneath heavy material, pressure against your chest can prevent your lungs from expanding. You can have breathable air directly in front of your face and still be unable to breathe. The only good news is that unconsciousness eventually arrives. The bad news is everything before it. Number 2, lost at sea. You survive the shipwreck. Congratulations. Now the ocean gets a turn. At first, dehydration becomes the main threat. You become desperately thirsty, and you're surrounded by water you can't safely drink. Drink enough seawater, and the salt forces your kidneys to remove more water than you consumed. So drinking it can make dehydration worse. Then comes sun exposure. Your skin burns. Your body overheats during the day. At night, temperatures can fall. If you're in the water, heat loss can become even faster. Then your mind begins to change. Sleep deprivation, dehydration, hunger, and isolation can cause confusion and hallucinations. People may see ships that aren't there, hear voices, make irrational decisions, and eventually, the line between survival and surrender becomes difficult to recognize. The ocean doesn't have to kill you quickly. It can simply wait. Number 1, being trapped without oxygen. This can happen in a sealed room, a mine, a confined space, or an environment filled with gas that replaces breathable air. And what makes this scenario terrifying is that your body may not immediately understand what's happening. The feeling of suffocation is strongly driven by rising carbon dioxide, not simply falling oxygen. So in some low-oxygen environments where carbon dioxide does not build up quickly, you may not experience the desperate feeling of being unable to breathe. At first, you may feel lightheaded, then strangely relaxed. Your judgment becomes worse. Simple tasks become difficult, but you may not realize anything is wrong. Your brain is one of the most oxygen-hungry organs in your body. As oxygen levels fall, neurons stop functioning properly. Your vision can narrow. Your coordination disappears. You become confused, and then you lose consciousness. But the truly disturbing part is how quickly your ability to save yourself can disappear. You may recognize the danger. You may know exactly what you need to do. Stand up, open a door, climb a ladder, put on an oxygen mask. But your brain can become too impaired to complete the task. And once consciousness is lost, the clock becomes extremely short. Without oxygen, brain cells begin suffering irreversible injury. The heart becomes unstable. Electrical activity fails. And eventually, circulation stops. But there is something strange about all of these scenarios. The human body doesn't simply give up. It fights. It redirects blood, changes your breathing, sacrifices less important tissues, slows metabolism, raises heart rate, triggers panic, and uses every remaining resource to keep the brain alive. Sometimes those systems save you. Sometimes they only make the process last longer. Because death isn't one moment. It's a sequence of systems failing. And depending on where you are, what happened to you, and how quickly help arrives, that sequence can last seconds, minutes, hours, or even days. Your body will keep trying to survive, right until it can't. Thanks for watching.